All right. Welcome everyone to today's regenerative roundtable. One of the highlights of my week coming together with this collective of incredible humans. And today we're really going to be dropping in to a subject around being financially free to live our medicine. So what does that mean? We're going to hear from a bunch of different people who are going to kind of riff on that theme. And that's what we do each week. We come here together to provide stories and solutions for those of you who are just tuning in with us to see if it resonates, to see if something that we have here is an answer to a prayer you might be carrying. And if so, the ways that this can fit into your life, weave into your life, and how we can support you in achieving whatever your goals and aspirations might be. So I'm really honored to be sharing this roundtable today with a steady crew. Robert and Daniela and Erica will be chiming in on this topic. And my name is Christina Amon. All of us are partnered with a superfoods company. And the superfoods company really acts as a vehicle, if you will. It allows us to create the life that we are really calling in, that is in alignment with what our highest purpose and higher self is asking us to live. And here we have this financial stream supporting us to create that life. Additionally, we also, through this partnership, are able to help thousands of people with their own health transformations and also their own wealth transformation. So we're going to get more into like how that all breaks down. But really today's topic is around why and how it allows us to really live our medicine. So let me just kind of preface all that to say, what is the world that we're living in right now, and why aren't we all just living our medicine? What are the obstacles to that? Well, essentially, we live in an economic paradigm that is designed by design to feed off of the people and the planet for profit. So that might sound extreme, but if that resonates for you, drop a 2 in the comments so I can kind of see who we're talking to here today. But essentially, we have a governmental system that just continues to tax people and continues to profit off people through corporate, to create increased corporate profit margin in a way that is just depleting the people, depleting bank accounts, depleting human bodies, creating sickness and disease in human and animal and planet. So that's what I mean by design, we're working with an economy that is broken beyond. And it's by design. It's not just broken. Like, it wasn't like, oh, that was a great idea that failed. It was like, actually, that was designed to. So what we're here today to say is we are here to create our own economies together, interdependent in community, to say we're not actually going to wait for that system to ever solve our problems. We aren't ever waiting for that system to fix itself. And instead, we're going to look at different economic models that are in alignment with our value system, that are designed to help people and planet, to uplift each other in collaboration, that are based in the heart, that are based in service, that are rooted in sustainability and regeneration and thinking of and planning for the next many generations. So that's what we're really here to offer today, and specifically talking about how do we choose an economy, the latter economy I just described, that can allow us to really, as I said, live our medicine, which to me is going to mean different things for each people, but it really for me, when I drop into what that feels like in my body, it's 100% presence with who I am, being able to live the gifts that I have to offer, the art that I have to express, the creativity, the support and healing, the beauty, all of the ways that each one of us has our own unique offerings, that we are completely supported in an economy to actually freely offer those gifts, whether it's to ourselves or to others, on our own terms. Versus, and I'll just sort of describe 3 different ways that each of us might find our medicine being pushed to the side, such as trying to create an income stream off of our medicine. Charging for medicine can, not always, it can be a beautiful expression and exchange. It can also lead to stress or burnout or undervaluing ourselves or trying to squeeze, the rent out of a healing exchange. And that can just sometimes feel off for people. So it can be something where, and for myself, we have a farm, and feeding people isn't something I want to make money on. I just want to feed people. So to have a financial backing to be able to just freely grow food and flowers and herbal medicine and just offer it to those who need it, that feels in alignment with who I am and what I'm here to do. No judgment on charging for what your gifts and goods and services are, absolutely not. And there's a certain freedom that comes when we can achieve that financial, not being limited by finances, what we're really here to talk about. So that's one scenario. Another scenario is somebody attempting to live their medicine by just not participating in the monetary world. Drop a 3 if you've ever been there. Just like, I'm not going to do the money thing. That's corrupt and crazy and chaotic and too confusing. And I'm just going to live freely outside of that and just live real simply, have a low overhead lifestyle, I'm going to just stay real pure over here. And that itself can lead to a ton of burnout because we're still in that system where we are going to the store for certain supplies and we are part of, transportation that's within that model. And when we are living on such a tight budget, that can just be stressful, super burnout stressful. And we're definitely not living our medicine under those circumstances. So that's another scenario. And what we're really here to talk about is what does it feel like in the body, and what would it look like to be so financially free that we don't ever have to make a single decision based on what we can afford, that we're not living any financial limitations, and then we are guided by our medicine. In fact, our medicine can be the guide for how that wealth is created without it necessarily being a one-to-one exchange. So we're going to hear from other voices. We're going to kind of tease that out for you and unpack that. But I just wanted to kind of lay the foundation for that. And part of my story, I've worked with this economy, the Purium economy, for 5 years to really create our family's dreams together. And we sat as a family last night really visioning like what really is our biggest dream. And right now, the version of the story that I want to tell is that being able to remove financial limitation from our reality has really allowed our family to come together. That before, it was taking my husband out of the household for up to 80 hours a week at times for years, and just recently have been able to retire him down to 1 or 2 days a week, which means that we have a lot more time as a family to connect, to really understand who we are personally, who each other is, to unwind our nervous systems, to heal wounds that may have caused any kind of separation or tension, and really find out who are we as a unit, what is our foundation, and what are we creating together in this world. And that is just so deeply fulfilling to me. And that allows me to feel like, oh, I can really live my medicine and offer my gifts to others in that way. So I want to pass the mic over to Daniela, if you're ready to pick it up over there in Puerto Rico, an amazing mama, activist, farmer, nurturer. You inspired a lot of the theme for this call, and I just really adore you and love you. And share with us what's inspiring you about this topic.
Yeah, thank you. I actually can't share for too long. I think I have like 5% battery. And this one is a little bit calmer now. So anyways, yeah, I really love what you're saying about our medicine and how we're supported to give more of our medicine to the world. So I felt that not only are we supported to give our medicine, but also to receive the medicine that we need from the world. To actually be trained on living your authentic self and prioritizing the things that you want to see grow in your life has helped me shift my mindset and my understanding of what business can be, where I can be here.
All right, that was her short and sweet share before the battery ended. So just to summarize what she was saying, like not only being supported to freely offer our medicine, but what does that look like to have the financial resources to invest? Oh, you're back. Carry on.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, I mean, you were saying it, you know, just to feel supported and knowing that I can be the owner of my own time and set my own schedule and not have to report back to anyone except myself, and really just be able to live a life by design rather than in the like survival mode all the time. That for me has been a huge game changer because it's allowed me to, as you said earlier, be more present with my family.
All right, I will pick up again. We'll see if she pops back on. So yeah, really having that presence and that support, and something that Daniela's share was inspiring me to reflect into this conversation was this idea of being resourced to invest into ourselves. So much of my personal family's vision and dream, and I know Daniela's as well, is to cultivate land. And I've really just in the last couple of days really come to realize that the only thing stopping us from any dream, any vision, isn't just money. That's really just a tool, but it's clearing any blockages within us to manifest, to live that, to fully express, to be in harmonious relations with others that are really clear and heart-centered. And for some of us, that means some deep healing work, some deep teasing out of relationship triggers or old wounds, perhaps inherited generationally. And so to have resources to support us with that, as somebody who carries medicine, is incredibly necessary. And so that's just like another piece of this, is being able to really invest in ourselves. And that wasn't something I really saw myself being able to do until I created economic sovereignty. So Daniela, did you have anything else you wanted to add to the conversation? I'm not sure if she's on here. Well, we will move carrying along here to Robert, who's also part of this roundtable. And I just appreciate your mindfulness and presence, Robert. What would you like to contribute to this topic?
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to speak. I'm always so grateful and honored and humbled to be part of this community and to be sharing my perspective. Yeah, just piggybacking off of what you and Daniela were sharing about creating this sovereignty and being resourced to actually fund and support what it is we want to bring to the world and create in regards to, you know, the medicine we're carrying. And I just love that terminology, because for years I've been wondering, how can I, you know, provide the medicine of, you know, meditation and mindfulness and really doing that deeper healing that you're speaking about, which is so important, you know, that work of peeling back the layers of conditioning and programming so we can actually manifest what it is, you know, our hearts and our souls are desiring, and know and feel, this is my path, this is what is meant to be. For me, I've definitely had this dream for a while as well, to cultivate community and to have land and permaculture and retreat centers and all of these things. And I've just never been able to wrap my head around how I'm going to be able to do that. And as I started to last year think of, you know, how can I start offering services, maybe life coaching or guided meditations, I would just get so stressed, because I'm like, how am I I have to come up with all of the ideas to, you know, promote and then connect with everyone and work one-on-one. And, you know, it's still in that hour for dollar paradigm. And it just wasn't making sense of how I'm ever going to be able to really cultivate those bigger dreams. And then Purium just kind of showed up for me. And it was, you know, a very clear light bulb that went off. That was like, yes, this is a path that I see amazing potential, not only economically for financial freedom, but it aligns completely with my core values of holistic wellness and clean, pure nutrition, and really being of service to my brothers and sisters and to this planet. And so I have been just diving deeper and deeper into my own money wounds and really healing these generational programs and belief systems within myself. And I've worked so many jobs for the man and in these systems of like trading my hours for dollars, never really getting ahead. And so I'm just really grateful that this opportunity presented itself to me in a time where I was looking for it, but didn't really know where to look. So yeah, I could definitely go on and on speaking about all of the intricacies that have come up in my journey so far. But I just want to encourage anyone who's listening that if you're feeling that calling to explore this a little bit deeper, definitely do it. It's worth it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that share. I really, yeah, I can see that there's so many of us who have these bigger dreams, and how are we ever going to financially get ahead to create that? And here we have this vehicle. And as we go along with creating this financial stream, we are already doing so much of that healing within this work, right? Like we have, you know, some sort of challenge comes to us in our work. And as a culture, we know that it isn't like, oh no. I mean, we might have that thought, right? Oh no, this challenge, this obstacle just arose in my path. And we know, that's the key right there. That's exactly the place to lean into and work that growth edge and see what message it brings. And when we do that deeper work, that's how we financially get ahead, but it's also how we evolve emotionally and spiritually, and really get to cultivate the higher version of ourselves, that one who's capable of living out that dream that we see in our mind's eye. So it's such a all-in-one package. It's so amazing. And to work together with all of us cheering each other on, collaboration, supporting each other, mentoring and teaching each other, and really seeing it all the way through together is just so beautiful. So I'm really honored to be working with you, Robert, and thank you for that share. And our final share today, Miss Erica over here, we are neighbors, also an incredible mama and farmer, and creating a space of love over there on the land that she tends with her 5 children and mom and all the animals and incoming community. So tell us, Mama, tell us a little bit about what this theme brings up for you.
Thanks, Christina. Beautiful to be here with this regenerative roundtable. Also my favorite call and gathering space of the week. And, I love this topic of really being fully resourced to live our medicine because it speaks on so many levels to me, the physical, the spiritual, the environmental, and what comes through for me is that this particular opportunity is really truly on every level regenerating the health of people, of the planet, of communities. And for myself, I can reflect back to a time when for probably 25 years, I've been actively gardening, growing food, working on organic farms, starting my own organic farms. And I'm really have learned through experience that farming is not the type of practice that supports farmers and families to really be financially free, right? We love what we do. There's a beautiful like self-fulfilling gratitude and contentment in that lifestyle, having the relationship with the earth and the nourishment that we receive from it. And maybe if we're so blessed, we have cultivated abundance to share with others. But when you're living in financial limitation and you're not creating like abundant prosperity from farming itself, there's a limitation on how much you can develop, how much you can even secure if something goes wrong, or how much you could ever get ahead in life. Like when I started to think about providing for the future of 5 children, or wanting to like support my mother in retirement, or wanting to ever take a vacation or develop extra things, extra layers of cultivation on the farm, I never had the bank account to support that. And in that lifestyle of working really hard and constantly staying busy, like producing, and it left me in a place where I was very energetically depleted. And so that paradigm was actually truly unsustainable for me. And what happens is that when we're not taking care of ourselves, when we can't give ourselves a day of rest, when we can't afford to provide massage when we need it, or get energetic healing support, or do those deeper self-care and therapeutic practices, we're sometimes running with those like blockages, like you said, or like stagnation, or in our bodies, we might feel pain. We might be in chronic physical pain, or emotional or spiritual heaviness, which is like impeding our ability to really like catapult the trajectory of our future in our lives. And it does take being resourced to move that energy and to move into a state of really flourishing in our mind, body, and spirit. And so what I've experienced through Purium is that deep level of detoxification and nourishment has put me in that state of like total overflow energetically, that I feel more resourced than I ever have to exert my efforts on the land, to show up for my family, to be a leader in my community, to be cultivating like farther and wider than I ever have, because I'm resourced at a deeper level of healing and transformation. And what I've discovered is that in that state of living with less finances, but having that rich farming lifestyle, it wasn't something that really fulfilled my long-term visions of like wanting to be able to support my collective in a bigger way, and wanting to be able to do more in life, right? I didn't want to just get by doing only what I could. And so moving out of that, living on the hill, off-grid, homesteading, and coming back into this reality with our online digital network and our ability to leverage things like social media and working with people through global commerce, and really creating these new green, like collaborative economies that are supporting regenerative agriculture and regenerative health, and people being empowered to put the health back into the 99% of us who are all here trying to find alternatives in the world. This is actually what has given me the financial stability and the platform to be able to cultivate the kind of financial abundance and freedom that is now allowing me to grow a family farm with a long-term vision, with like an ability to continue to develop new things, greenhouses and educational buildings and fish ponds and more orchards and more gardens and more animals. And it's just an incredible, like exponential rippling out possibility that I feel like I'm actually on a much larger scale now able to give back to the health of the land, to my family, to myself, to my community. And this is actually truly sustainable and moving into that direction of collective thriving. And even just to zero it in, you know, last weekend I spent 2 whole days literally living my medicine making journey. I was cultivating a healing skin salve, and I was working with my bees, and I was processing honey and all the things from my herbal medicine to the beeswax. And I was thinking about that. And it's been a long time since I felt fully energetically and financially resourced to just be home making medicine that I get to freely share with my family and with community. And sometimes it's knowledge, sometimes it's energy, sometimes it's resources in hand, but to be able to share because I can is such a good feeling in the ways that I know I'm capable of giving back. And it does take being in that state of like nervous system relaxed, needs are met, I have more to give, that is allowing me to really express my gifts into the world. And we all have so many gifts to share. So that's part of my bigger prayer for everyone, that we are so fully funded, so fully resourced nutritionally and energetically and with our communities, that we all can live our gifts in the world. And I look forward to living in that world where there are win-win solutions and communities developing and flourishing by people just being able to share their genius and their medicine. And I see this as the platform and the viable solution that is forwarding that in the world. So I couldn't be any more grateful. And that's what I have to share today. Mahalo.
So good. I love what you were saying right at the beginning there, all of it. But at the beginning, talking about, you know, this really is a solution for regenerating people's gut microbiomes and bodies and planet. And contrast that to what I was opening up with, that sort of scenario. I was like, oh, this is the antidote to the poison. You know, creating an economy like this is really the antidote to what is sort of the overriding current, or the old crumbling system that produces the archetype of the wounded healer, right? We have so many artists and healers and teachers and moms and all these people who are just sacrificing themselves to get their gifts out there, but aren't getting the kind of support that we're talking about is available here. And not only creating, because it does, you know, this is not overnight quick money. This takes work to build. This isn't, you know, it takes some grit, and it takes commitment and consistency. And we have other videos for those of you who are curious, you know, how exactly does it work? We actually created like a nuts and bolts. Erica and I created exactly how does this work. You can watch that one. So we won't get into that today. But just this idea that we can actually build this wealth, like I said earlier, fueled by our medicine. So when we know what is our greatest vision of what our life would look like if there were no financial limitations, we let that vision guide us into building the wealth that then supports and creates that exact vision. And in that way, we're channeling our medicine to create the wealth that then goes to fund the medicine. And all the meanwhile is giving us that healing and opening up our channels and activating our leadership and our gifts all along the way. So it's quite a remarkable model. If you haven't tapped into it before, or perhaps you've tapped into it and didn't have the kind of experience that you're hearing about today, I really welcome you to take the next step, learn more, get your questions answered, get with a person who's sharing this with you, and just see if there's a place for you here, because we welcome you. We're excited to support you. The mentorship, world-class coaching all comes for free when you get your first bundle of superfoods to really nourish your own body and let those cells come alive and sing with deep nourishment. And then, as Erica said, also get to have this gentle, gradual detoxification of just, living on earth. There's things that are good to let go of, and possibly even a long period of time of accumulating residue. So we have this incredible system. And when you get your first 30-day bundle of superfoods, you actually get the business for free. So with that comes all the coaching, trainings, mentorship, and the tools to know how to take your part-time hours and create what can become an uncapped passive residual income stream that really just flows towards your greater visions in life. So again, thanks for taking the time to be here today. Thank you to all of our speakers. And I'm just really warmed up in my heart right now, and just holding that same prayer that Erica named of, let's see more people financially free and supported to live your gifts, to give your medicine, to be supported and becoming whole, as much as we can, right? It's always a journey, but to be able to really walk that journey and move towards the world that we really want to pass on to our future generations. So thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And hopefully we'll be seeing some of you on the next week, and you can bring your friends too. Mwah. Aloha.